What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode here of Radio Wigwam, Palangi Studio of Rock. We got Sick Sanctuary. What's up, man?
What's going on, man? How's it
We got
going?
we got Brady in the building and Marc here. What's going on? Where you guys from? Let's start off with that. I know you guys, but
Right on. Yeah, we're all kind of all over the place. So myself, I'm in York County, Pennsylvania.
okay. I wasn't sure if you moved or not. 'Cause I remember we were
Yep, I'm
talking a long time ago.
I'm in the same area, man.
Nice. Where you at
Yep.
now, Marc?
Well, York is sort of like our home base. That's where we sort of claim out of because that's where our fans are and that's where we play most of our shows. But I'm in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
How far is that from everybody?
It's like an hour.
Oh, it's not too bad. It's like
Yeah,
here to
so not bad.
Albany. You
Yeah,
guys,
Right.
You guys probably, I think you've been here once near the Albany area, I think, with the old singer. So there's been a couple of different groups and stuff. Brady's gotten to this journey where he's finally here, let's say.
Yeah, man. It's been quite the journey. I was gonna say that would have been probably Exemius when we were touring with All That Remains. With Nick Boyle.
Yes, I remember that. So before we get into it, let's talk about that just a little bit, and we'll lead into like how did you meet Marc and how did you join the band?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So at that time, which I think we were talking also, maybe trying to work something out there because we were looking for a singer after that tour. So the guy we had at that point decided to step away. There was lineup changes going on and everything, and it kind of got to a point where it was just I can't stop, man. I got to keep going, and not just that, just sometimes you don't realize a situation you get into, and I'm not about drama. I just want to have a good time and do it for the love of music and keep trucking. So that's where Marc kind of came into the picture because he was somebody who was also on my radar at that time. I mean, just kind of had a couple people there, and he had the project going with Scott at the time, Sixth Century. So he had hit me up, and I think is when the first time I heard the cover of "Them Bones" by Alice in Chains. They had a cover of
Yeah.
that. Like, hey man, we got this new project. We're looking to film a video for it in a week. And as soon as I heard it and seen some of the other videos they did, I was like, you know what? These guys seem super cool. I'm already a fan. Like, I'm just going to do the leap of faith, and I have no regrets, man. Here we are today. I'm in a great group of guys in this project.
I remember you were hinting something like that, and then that came out, and I was like, okay, this is different. I thought maybe like both the bands combined, they just whoosh, corroded together.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
definitely.
guitarist that was in the previous band is not in this band, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
this is all a whole bunch of new guys in this band. I'm the only one from the previous band in this.
what do you with writing material together, like Marc, you guys had a bunch of stuff together already. Did you take any ideas from maybe Brady's past projects, or you guys just like we're gonna start fresh?
so let me ask the mushroom.
Mario.
The mushroom says we we started to write all original material back in 2019. And Brady was in this band called Exemius. Um, they had asked me to try out for that band when their singer left. It kind of nothing really connected, and I'm like, "Hey, man, while you're doing that, do you also want to come over here and check this shit out?" And he said, "Yeah, like why not?" So, man, we hit it off like he was saying that one video shoot, and we kind of did things ass backwards. So we
Oh,
started to
okay.
do the videos. We had a bunch of demos, a bunch of recordings. We felt like shooting videos. Um, and then we started to get into the actual production of the live band as it is today. So that's Nick Black, Brady Hearn, myself, and Scott Hoon. So yeah, it came about as an all 100% original derived project. So there's no other elements.
So Brady wasn't even on drums on the audio version of that cover song, but he filled in for the music video, and then the rest is history.
Yeah,
Yep.
but he's been everything else.
That's cool. What did you think? I wanted to ask you. So you did a cover of Rob Zombie, "More Human Than Human." How did that come about? Huge
Uh,
Oh,
fan, right? I would say. Gotta be, right, to cover
Absolutely.
it?
Well,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was pretty ballsy, man. I gotta admit that was a ballsy move on our part. I'm a big Rob Zombie fan. He's always been a really big influence, and he's probably one of the best artists and creators that has ever existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially in film too. Like the guy can go cross-platform. He can do anything that he wants, and he's super freaking creative. Um, but we I think Scott sent me that track. We were just kind of all messing around, and I'm like, you know what? Let's see if I could do it. So I was kind of like messing around between takes of another original track, and I just did it in like one or two takes, and that was it.
Oh, wow.
I sent it to the guys, and they're like, "Yo, let's put it out." We shot a video within like 2 weeks. It all comes together real quick. Sometimes the video process is, you're planning it for a long time, and nothing's working out, and it's all falling apart, but somehow it all comes together in like 3 days, and you just got
Yeah.
to roll with it, man. You just
Yeah,
got to
it's
go
like,
with the flow.
"Guys, it's together, let's go," and you're like, "Hurry up."
Oh
You're
yeah.
like, "Man," well, sometimes
It's happening.
locations fall through, everything that even the people shooting, they get other things or whatever goes on. There's a lot to shooting a music video. There is a lot. And that's something I was going to bring up because I noticed you guys like to shoot music videos a lot. Is that anywhere stemming from maybe your love of film and that kind of stuff? Or you're just like, I've always loved music videos and we're doing as many as we can?
That's a really good question, man. So when Scott and I got together, we had a mutual interest in doing horror movies. So we wanted to shoot an original horror movie, and we still haven't gotten around to it, but that may be a goal in the future. Uh, but yeah, the music videos, it just seemed to come natural to us. The planning and scheduling between the band members, free form of ideas back and forth, and then just finding a cool spot to shoot the video or spots or whatever it
Yeah. Yeah,
shakes
you
out.
definitely have big open industrial style stuff, which I like too. There's a lot of cement going on in the background.
There's a lot of secret abattoirs and slaughterhouses in York, man.
Oh, okay. Those are
Yeah,
good spots.
yeah, we got them on lockdown.
Oh yeah.
So you guys released an EP, and on there there's a song called Delirium. What's that? What's that one about?
Um, Delirium's is sort of one of those songs that's about people that are looking down all day. We spend our lives looking at our cell phones and not looking up. And when you do that, you sort of get caught in your own feedback loop. And Delirium's a song about only listening to those sort of impulses and creating your own, basically, delirium.
Yeah, you're stuck in your own world. That's a cool.
Absolutely.
That's a cool idea for the song. Did you do a music video for that too? I don't know if I saw one.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did one for that. We did that in a friend of mine's. He has like a TV studio, and
Oh, okay.
his name's Kurt. He was kind enough to let us film at this spot, and yeah, we just all the band members, our girlfriends, and significant others went out and guerrilla filmed some shit.
There you go. One's in charge of wardrobe, and you have catering. Let's bring the
That's how
catering
you
in.
do it, man. You just got to put it all
Right.
together. You got to figure it out. It's a scramble.
That's cool. That's cool that you're like, oh, maybe, we still got to shoot a horror movie or something. I'm into all that kind of stuff. I finally completed my first horror movie and I'm in the
Did you really?
same boat. It's like, takes years of like, finally, when am I going to do this? And then just
What
do
kind
it.
of how long did it take you to put together from concept to
About 8 months, I would
yeah,
say.
yeah? And you wrote the screenplay yourself?
So with me, I actually don't write a script. I write an outline, And then
Yeah.
basically we kind of freehand some of the scenes as far as like, because I like input from the actors and stuff a lot. Like I'll write stuff and I'll be like, what do you think based off of your character? And
That's pretty cool. I really like that idea, man. I think that that's
yeah.
keeping it free form and keeping it natural, so it's not artificial, it's not contrived, or that's really
No,
cool.
no. And we did a whole story that way because my movie's a set of 7 different stories. So I'm like, let's do one where we don't even write a script because I used to do that all the time. And it actually
Yeah,
worked out pretty good. I mean, you got to know a little bit of what you're doing, but if you guys get into that too, definitely let me know because I do scary music and stuff. I'd love to help you guys out with that.
I really respect that, man. Because it sort of rings true for me in the sense of having a band and a band being a jam band at its core.
Yeah.
One of the things that we're trying to do as a band is getting back to those basics where we're writing in the rehearsal space, and you have an inception of a song and it's just the groove, and then you build
Mhm.
on that groove and you build. People can bring stuff to the table, but the essence of the song is within that connection between everybody, and I think that's really cool, man. That's uh
That was kind of going to be
what's
my
up.
next question of, when you brought that up, not a lot of bands have access to say studios where they can go and practice. Like back in the day, you used to go to the studio. That was your practice space and the song like you said came out of that rather
Right.
than oh, I'll write it in my bedroom or I wrote it in my car quick, that sort of thing and then let's come together and either do it digitally or we'll go to the studio and see what happens. Um,
Yeah.
the Brady, let me ask you a question here. So we were talking about digital drum recording back in the
Sure.
day. Um, I know, I mean, you're a fan of tracking real drums more than digital drums, but explain to the people that maybe don't know how that works or, what's that process like from, do you do it on a demo level and then do you go to the studio for the actual songs? Like explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely demoed out a lot of stuff just, with me tracking on the E-kit at home with my home, recording setup. So, I mean, we were at a point considering, Scott is lived in Vegas, lived in Detroit.
Oh, wow.
Uh, so there was that time where we did have to bounce around and write music that way, so I would, demo some drums out for those songs. And for the first EP, I mean, I pretty much made some adjustments. So when we would go into the big studio, you know what I mean, we would do a different program of drums. Obviously, it sounded more beefy, more realistic sounding for a digital drum set.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
Guys like us, we might be able to pick up on, but I mean, most people won't be able to pick up on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Bigger
that's how we did it.
preamps.
Yes, 100%. And it's
Yeah.
easier just to kind of go in there and move things around that made it flow a little bit better, be more tasteful at that point. Of course, I would love to, track live drums, and that's definitely what we plan on doing for the next, group of tunes. But it's cost efficient too. You know what I mean? It's studio stuff, depending where you go, is pretty pricey as well. So we try to do as
Yep.
much as you can pre-production and still have those elements of a performance and
Yeah.
go from there pretty much. But
You have to get your act together when you're going in the studio like we did to cut like a 5-6 song EP. You have to have practiced everything so you're not going in there wasting time though, and it's just adjustments on the fly, and here it is, it's performance time, and it's the same thing as like a live performance almost, but
Yeah, down to what amps are you gonna use and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff too.
so that's exciting about being in the studio. It's you get that unknown factor.
Yeah, and there's always you don't know what's gonna come out of it sometimes. You know what I mean? That's maybe the scary part, especially for paying or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like
oh yeah,
we think it's gonna come out the way it's gonna, but sometimes it doesn't. And it's not always like the engineer's fault or something. You're just like, dude, it's just it's not working. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, we
nowadays,
can't
what's
force
lucky,
creativity.
yeah, you can with the say it's like the song is not working, but maybe the drums, let's say, are killer, and you can actually take back parts and splice in things, and you can do things afterwards, which I think with like you're saying the electronic kit and stuff, you can do easier stuff like that because once you record real drums, man, you can't change the room sound. It's over.
exactly. And you can't change them parts, man. If there's a fill you're playing, you don't like it, 2 months from now, and kicking yourself in the ass, man. You
Yep.
can't go back and change it, you know. And at least I guess where that kind of helps, I do like writing, demoing the stuff that way, the e-kit, because I do have a little bit of time, you know, as I write it. I feel like I have a better chance at structuring parts for the song, you know, doing it section by section, right? So I can sit there and track the chorus part on my own. I can wait a day and a half, go back, and if I still like it, great. I may make a slight change, but as long as I can be happy at that point and then take it in, it's kind of, that's the nice part about it, I would say. But
you take more of your time.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
And if I could write it that way, then go in and learn obviously the parts that I written that way and then play it straight through, then great. You know, that'd be awesome. But yeah, man.
I like to talk about gear too. So I know some people don't go into it, but that's why I say it's Palangi Studio of Rock, because I like to get into all that kind of stuff. So
Definitely.
let's keep talking about drum stuff here, and we'll see what Mark does for. I don't know if he brings his own microphones or what types you like to use, but whoever would like to go first with gear talk.
Sure,
Well,
don't matter to me. Go ahead, Mark.
I just wanted to say something real quick about the drum as an instrument. The drum is the most important instrument because that's how you develop your groove. Everything is based around the drum. So the vocal is a drum. Everything is a drum hit. So coming up with that kind of stuff on the spot, connecting, you know, one person, two person, you got two people, you've created a groove.
Yep.
And that's the earthy element to songwriting. It's not contrived, and you can't create it in the studio that way. You have to have two people connecting. That's what I love about the songwriting process. And like Brady was saying, getting back to that organic stuff, man, everybody loves analog, right? But
yeah,
the way the future is headed,
except for the lo-fi guys,
we're going on this trajectory where our technology is just running rampant, right? So
yeah,
it's going to be difficult to carve out those little slices of history, and you know, especially if you don't have $1 zillion.
yeah. And it's well, for me, it's hard to explain, but you can't record air. You know what I mean? It's that a lot of it is the room sound, the air actually hitting that microphone. There's things where, especially guitar stuff, we could go into that all day, where they replicate the sounds. A lot of it does sound very, very close, but it's the air and the movement and that push. That's what they can't, they just
Sure.
can't quite get that yet. You know, because there's a
Yeah,
difference when you mic an amp and then when you take the same sound and say you like reamp it and you make you know, a
absolutely,
digital
man.
copy of it.
Yeah, with digital, there's always, I like to describe it as a digital harshness. You don't have that warm analog sound. There's always that real bitey digital
Yeah.
harshness. And it's a matter of preference though. Like some people like that, some people like the other thing. Some people like a combination of both.
It works. I think combo together is the best of both worlds. Taking like Brady said, you guys are gonna track, you know, in studio drums. That's great to put some samples over it to get some of that definition in it, because sometimes it can be lost in the microphones if you don't have that many choices or however you guys record it. And
Yeah.
so that kind of saves you from saying, "Well, I got to do that part because we got to remic it and all that." And be like, no, we're just going to put another kick over it that has more high end or something. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, bleed them together. Yep.
What kind of drum set do you play, and are you endorsed with any companies? And I know he's folks, you got to see Brady drum, man. He's flipping the sticks. He's really energetic. He's got like 4 hands, literally.
Octopus, man.
He's a gunslinger.
I
He
love
is
it. Thank you so much, dude. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
were
I
I don't
talking.
know
do.
how he does it. I when I turn back and I watch him, I'm like, how the hell is he doing that? Because it's like sleight of hand. It's moving faster than you can even see it.
Yeah, you're probably standing there singing, you know, holding a note and looking back, and the guy's just like a flash going on.
Looks like he's got 4 hands.
Yeah,
Yep.
it does actually when you drum.
I appreciate
Looks
that,
like
man.
Goro.
I love it. Hey, man, whatever sticks out and people enjoy watching, you know, and that's kind of like, you know, always tell people, you know, I've always gotten shit for the stick tricks and the showmanship and stuff, and I get it. But at the same time, like I play, like if I would go see a show, man, like that's what I would want to see. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
showmanship. When you put on a show, I mean, it's cool. I respect it. You know, if you can have a happy medium of putting the showmanship on and still rip a kit and play the parts correctly and put it in the right spots, I mean, it's cool, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just, you know, my thing. That's why I like doing it. Plus, I'm going to play the way I want to play, you know, at the end of the day.
I remember the Facebook post you put out. You go, "This is me doing no tricks. I'm just gonna play my ass off in this."
Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
like ripping around, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, and I guess I shouldn't feel that I have to like prove anything on that, but you know, it's nice to showcase that because you know sometimes it does get old when people think you're just a one trick pony. I guess you know,
Yeah.
got a
It's
little bit more to offer.
well, when it comes down to it, it's what you think too. You know, I'm especially like
Sure.
probably Mark. You've had some people. I've had it with vocals that they make fun of your voice, or they say, "Oh, you should do this and try this," or
Oh yeah,
"Go this way," and you're like, "That's a completely different direction." You know what I mean?
one
Sure,
hundred
man.
percent.
Yeah, everybody's got an opinion. It's important that you listen to your gut the most, and you're always going to have constructive feedback. So, like, sometimes the best feedback I've gotten in my life was when somebody was very harsh to me. I didn't realize it at the time, but they were 100% right. And I hated them for saying that shit. But some of those moments, not all of them, some of them you look back and you're like, okay, well, that was good constructive criticism. But yeah, man, you always got to shoot straight from your heart, straight from the gut to get your energetic point across. That's at least that's my opinion of it.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of mics and stuff do you use?
For live, I'll just use a 58A. Vocal studio stuff. I demo stuff out with the TLM 103 Neumann. I'm going into an Apollo Twin, so that's the PC setup I've had lately. I use
Okay.
Pro Tools. I have a Mac setup too. I kind of go back and forth because I got all this legacy stuff on the Mac, and PC is sort of like new territory for me. But I'm able to go back and forth and do
Okay.
different stuff.
Do you ever use those filters where you can actually change the microphone to a different style of microphone?
Like
Like Slate Audio, Slate Digital, they have
oh
that
yeah,
where you can.
I think I have Slate stuff on the Mac. Yeah, Steven
Yeah.
Slate. Yeah,
I do that for like backup vocals and stuff. If for the tracks, like you can change it to like a 57 or a drum microphone or whatever you wanted to. That's kind of neat.
yeah. You got the vintage filter trick. That's on the
Yeah.
just the I guess the basic Pro Tools plugins.
Yep. What do you? Well, I guess it's whatever the studio has. But I don't know. Like for me now, when I first started, I wasn't really concerned as much with gear. But now, if I went into a studio, I would kind of ask them like, "What microphone do you have?" At least before I would just say, "Oh, there's a microphone in this booth. It
Yeah,
looks awesome."
yeah. I don't know. I trust the professionals. Like the guys we work with are unbelievably professional. Grant and Carson from Atrium Audio. So I trust whatever Grant says. Basically, he just has such a good ear,
Hmm.
and the way we work together is just simple. There's no issues or problems. The flow is pretty good, and his microphone choices are very limited. I think he's um, figured out what he likes over the years, and it definitely works.
Yeah, because you have to pair them up with the right preamps, and you change one thing, and it could be, not as clear or thinner or whatever it is, and for your voice too.
That's the trick, man. You
Yep.
got to figure out what works with your voice and that chain. Good microphone, a good preamp, good compression, and then EQ,
Yep.
or whatever order you do that in.
Or is it EQ then compression?
Or is it EQ then compression? Exactly.
Depends how you talk to. Drummer wise, I don't know. Drummers love to use compression, and there's a reason. Right, Brady? You still here?
Oh yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can't see you right now, but
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I had a call coming in.
okay.
It was my dad trying to call me.
Oh, there you go.
Pops will have to wait for me to call him back.
Come on.
Pride to talk music, man.
Yeah,
He's
man.
a musician too, so
So what does compression do to drums? Why do drummers love compression, man? Does it add more of that smack?
I guess so. I would just from a little bit that I've experienced, putting compression on things. I feel like it gets it a little bit more like a how do I want to say it?
It's
Like a fuller, tight punch. I guess you know what I mean.
yeah,
Um,
Punch.
just a little extra. It's not
gluey.
so all over the place. It's in your face.
Yep. It's more
At least from
contained.
my yes, that's the best word for it for sure.
Yep. Too
Yeah,
much
man.
it can make it sound small too. Too much.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, I like the punchy stuff, man. Like how Grant and Carson do drums. Like so, Grant's a drummer as well, but even for what Carson does is freaking awesome, dude. They have a killer ear, and their drums I love especially. They're so punchy. You can hear the thing I love, and I tried to do it too on my own. Is when you can distinguish the each crash cymbal, your china, and all your toms and your snare individually. It just they all hit right.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh man, that gets me every time.
Yes, they don't sound the
So
same. I've noticed that a lot of times. I'll hit two cymbals. I'm like, they sound like the same cymbal.
yes, definitely. You can distinguish everything. You can hear like I like when I can hear a crash, a snare, and a kick too when somebody's riding through a course, and you can distinguish all the parts. Like you can almost see it when you're hearing it. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'm just weird like that. I don't know.
Maybe just like the stereo pan of it. You know what I mean? It's everything's kind of in its place and it's different. You can how's all the set sounds. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
I don't know. You know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Sort
Oh
of.
yeah.
I do hear with you guys, I do hear a drowning pool influence. I hear David Cook too in your voice, Mark, when you sing clean.
Who's David Cook?
David Cook was on American Idol.
I
He's
don't
kind of
remember
around when
that.
Daughtry came out.
Okay, I'll have to check him out.
Got a little bit
That's
of
the
that vibe
first.
going on.
Oh, thanks, man. That's the first I've ever heard about that, but I'll check it out. Check him out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Do you like Drowning Pool? Like, what are your influences for vocally?
Well, that guy's got a great voice, man. The great scream, great vocal. I guess I learned from Phil Anselmo, Chris Cornell,
Yep.
Scott Weiland. Just repeating, singers that I admired, Brent Smith, Shinedown, people that had this extraordinary vocal range that I didn't have at the time. And I just had to practice and figure it out and get better at doing that one thing.
Yeah. Were you because it sounds like you have a deeper voice. Like you're like, man, I wish I could sing like the Def Leppard high stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, I always knew I was in band since I was younger, and I always had this high vocal range. So I guess I do have like a baritone type regular speaking voice, but I could always hit those fucking David Lee Roth like squeechy and whatever you call them, whistle voice notes.
It's not a bad thing.
No, I don't know. But, I went to I was having some trouble back probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I thought I had an issue with my voice. I didn't. It turned out to be nothing. But I went to a vocal coach named Melissa Cross, and this woman is a saint and just like so in tune with the human voice.
Mm.
She's like a metal goddess. Um, she had me think about things a completely different way. And she, one of the things she explained about the human voice, she said, compare it to like a viola, a violin, and a cello. So you have the same type of strings and the same type of similar scales, but one's a little bit fatter, one's a little bit fatter, one's a little bit fatter. And that's where your, I guess, tone and resonance comes from. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's a really cool way to think about that. And she has all these really cool tricks to think about the voice, human voice.
Do you ever use like vocal straws or what are you do you warm up before a show or do you do anything special?
Uh, yeah, I try not to push too hard during a performance. When you get to that point where you're like about to break something, yeah, you never want
And
to
you
go.
want to, but
You
you're like,
want to, but you never want to go past that point because you never know what's going to pop. Pop a gasket or something.
Yep. Yep.
Blow a fuse. Yeah, I do like regular types of vocal warm up sometimes, just pretty basic stuff.
What if you can't hear? Do you use like in ears or do you use the stage monitors?
Uh, Both, and sometimes it depends on the size of the venue, the club, what the
Yep.
sound system's like, the tin canniness of the room, I guess,
Yeah.
where you really can't hear stuff. And if it's like a horizontal shaped room, you know, you get that bounce back.
If it's
So
triangle
then,
shaped.
uh, yeah, I don't know. When you
Yeah.
have the walls that are closer to you instead of like a lengthwise room, those are the tough ones. That's when you get that real tin canny kind
Yeah.
of bounce back effect. But yeah, I'll use regular, like, sure, in ears, and um, I don't know. It depends on the night, really.
If the venue allows it, sometimes the bands you open for don't allow it. Like there's a stipulation thing. We don't have time for this. We're not dealing with it. Yada yada. So you're like, okay, we can't use it. Okay.
The
And
bands don't, in your experience, the bands don't allow it, or the sound guy is kind of just whatever.
or it's the band sound guy, whoever on their team is. Sometimes they're
Yeah,
just like, nope, we're using our channels and this is it. The board's maxed out. You can't use in ears. Sometimes they tell you, I'm not going to
yeah.
name bands, but there's a few out there that will tell you, even down to like what
I,
you can sell and what you can't sell
I
at your
bet there
merch
is.
table.
That's part of their game, man. That's not our game, but some
Yeah.
people play it like that.
Yeah, and they don't have to be honest. I mean, who cares?
No,
If you
man.
sell three more guitar picks than the other guy, who cares?
No, I
Right.
always want other people to do good. I've
Oh,
always come from that school where I'm interested in other people. I'm interested in other artists, and I like what they're doing. So I want
yeah.
them to excel. And having the opposite mentality has always been something that I always found it odd that people have that.
Yeah. It might be just I don't know, control or something, or maybe they're used to being said yes to everything, maybe. There's no in
Maybe.
there. Who
Yeah, it's
knows?
possible.
I don't know. But Brady, you probably have to use any of your monitors, but is there ever a point where you couldn't? How does that work out for you? Like if you had to use a drum monitor.
Oh man, that is a good question. So stuff like when I did Eximius and especially this band's, we run tracks, so definitely run the in-ear monitors. If I don't have a good mix, man, if I can't hear that click, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
tell you what, it probably wouldn't be bad to have the back monitor as a backup if something were to go out.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, it'd be a little difficult trying to keep that timing, I guess, because when you run tracks, you got to have that click, keep you in time. But I feel like I have decent time. I'm a little ahead. I've always been told that, so I don't slow down. I'm a little ahead, which is, I guess, not a bad thing. I've been told, but I feel like I have pretty solid timing overall, I guess. But yeah, if it comes down to that, I mean, I've had a lot of practice. I didn't play with the click for years, and started playing with the click probably 6-7 years ago, and came natural. So I think either or, like, I think we could pull it off. We would push through and pull it off for sure.
Yeah, you almost don't want to be like a human metronome because it is still
Yeah,
live. Even if
oh,
you
for
have
sure.
other sounds underneath or because you probably have some synth stuff or some sound effects going off here and there as cues and whatever and
Most
maybe
definitely.
do you do like an intro track stuff like that with certain sounds like in between a song
Oh
or
yeah,
part of the song?
yeah, most definitely. Yeah, we have like an intro track we walk out to. It's like 2 minutes long, and then some of the songs have intros and it has a nice click in and runs through. I mean, I don't know. I really don't mind the click at all too. Playing with that, a lot of people. Actually, that was a question I got this past weekend. We played a show. Somebody asked me, is it difficult to be flipping your sticks and doing the showmanship while you're playing to a click?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, it's actually fairly natural for me. I guess because the click came really natural. It's kind of second nature, but I feel like some people do have a difficult time playing with the click. I mean, I guess it is kind of weird for some people, but it's important, man. It's very important.
It is. It is.
At
We
least for
got
recording,
yeah.
especially.
So the video versions here, we got all three of us back here on the screen. Now, if you're listening to the audio version, hello. Don't forget that this will be available as a video version. So you can head over to our YouTube or our social media sites and you guys can check that out too. Now, all your guys' music, right? I know it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon, it's on a gazillion other sites. Anywhere where you can, I don't like to say stream all the time. I want to say buy. Anywhere you can buy the music. If you're an indie band, if you're a major label band, folks, buy the music. Don't just stream it. It helps the artist a lot more. Like gas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Everybody says that the music has left that uh, left that arena where it's just that's your selling tool, and then where you're going to make your money is everything else. But where there's a will, there's a way, and
Mm-hmm.
when markets are oversaturated, what do people do? They pull back from those markets, and then they come up with creative ways to do other shit.
Yep.
So I don't know. We sell CDs. We sell, we stream it, of course. And, I've done flash drives in the past, which are kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if they serve any purpose anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The thing I always kind of thought was weird is you can give away your whole catalog at once, and then what makes them come back besides, if they really like it. You know what I mean? Because if everything's on there, or unless like, well, you could put the music
Yeah.
video on there with it
Yeah.
and stuff too. Then they could pirate it though, I guess.
Well, what we're learning, and it's a learning process, is that you have to really space out your material and then plan for a lot of these things.
Yeah.
Us going back to the drawing board, going back into the studio, we're sort of looking at it a different way. And, maybe some of those things that you're talking about, kind of pulling it back a little bit. If there's a full release, a full album.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe doing a single and a video here and there. I don't know. We have to sort of feel the temperature of what's going on. But we really enjoy releasing music, and I think the past several months has been like tactical for us, trying to figure out how to play these live shows and make the band what it is, what it's becoming. So that process has been pretty fucking awesome, man. And
what's coming up for you guys?
I love playing with these dudes.
What's coming up tour wise for you guys? Shows.
Oh man.
What do we got, Brady?
I think the next show we have a little bit of a break, but which we're looking
April,
to
right?
fill. Yeah, April 30th is the next show. That would be the Union Firehouse with Sleep Signals.
Okay.
I think that's the next one, and then after that, we do have some studio time May 11th and 12th, and then the 12th as well. We have a pretty big hometown show in Redline, where I'm from.
Nice.
That's with a band called Awaken the Giant, I believe it is. They're coming in from Texas. They're going to be playing the next night at Rock on the Hill with like Trapped and a couple other bands like that.
Trapped.
So we figured we throw them on that bill, man. That should be a good night. But I think we have a few like that, some in June coming up. And I guess we won't say too much, but possibly some tour dates with the bands. We won't say at this point, but we're still waiting to hear a little bit more on that. So hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, and I should mention that we're trying to hop on the Five Finger Death Punch show in the York State Fair. So
there you go.
Yeah, man, we're trying. We got Ivan and Chris Kale's attention on it, so we'll see what happens, man.
I know that stuff very well. Of you don't know what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can only try, and sometimes like it goes down even to the week of the event sometimes, and you're like, we got it or we didn't get it, and it's hard because you guys have to keep that date free, and you're like, are we doing this or are we not doing this? But maybe we are.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Yeah. You just never know. What's the worst that can happen? Somebody tells you no, but yeah, it's one of those things, man. It could be a long shot, but why not? Why not try?
Yeah, you have to. You know what I mean? Well, live is part of getting yourselves out there too.
Oh,
and but if you guys come near my way, let me know. Maybe we can bust a move here together somewhere.
That'd be fantastic, man.
I have been a little bit of a studio rat since COVID and the last year, but it's not a bad thing.
Bad thing.
I'll get back out there again someday.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, I'd love to see you live, man. I always thought you had a pretty unique voice. I think you're an awesome performer.
I appreciate that. I remember Brady and I were talking. We're like, I think it was some show or something. And I go, dude, if I get this show, do you think maybe you could drum it for me or something? Because I'm just a solo guy. I always need other people involved. So, Yeah, you've always been good that way, where you want to just jump on something.
For sure, man.
So
It's always about making that noise. Gotta
I
make that noise
know,
for the right people.
I know. Well, vocally, you never know. You could do it was a crossover song, featuring, 6 different bands or 2 bands, whatever it is. I love that kind of stuff too with recording.
Absolutely.
Possibilities are endless.
Yes, they are.
Mark, any last words there, buddy?
No, I just want to. I'm really interested in your horror movie, man. I want to know your process, and because that's where I want to get to, is eventually figure out how to shoot my own film.
I
But
have.
I can't figure it out yet.
Let me tell you when we're off the air for a minute here, because it's gonna be too long. It's gonna be too long for me to talk about this for everybody. And they'll be like, horror movies? What are you talking about horror movies for? It's a music show, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool, man.
I cross into other things though. It's cool. But yeah, we can chat about it here for a minute. And everybody out there, appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go over to their social media sites here and leave some comments and stuff. And if you like a post, just leave a comment on how you like it. You know what I mean? Whether it's a music video or, the sun's out today, whatever it is, whatever.
And make
it
sure
is.
you message Five Finger Death Punch to get 6th Century on the York State Fair show.
There you go.
That'd be a huge honor to open up for those guys. We'd learn a lot.
Comment like, was it a Attack of the Clones? Just comment it. Just go over there and just freaking do it.
That's right.
Star Wars reference. Don't give me that either.
I love it.
All right, there. I appreciate you guys coming on here, and we'll chat soon. All right.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem, guys. You're listening to Palangi's Studio of Rock, only here on Radio Wigwam every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 UK. Tune in for other interviews that we have on here, and we'll be back. We've had some exciting guests, and I think I'm personally up to over 60 people that I've interviewed since 2020. And to me, that's a huge number, trying to get everybody together and do this kind of stuff. But I love it as an artist and just as a listener and hearing your guys' stories, and you learn a lot. It's all about the noggin.
We appreciate it, brother. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem, guys. I'll have you guys back on sometime. We'll do a follow-up here with something's burning up in the atmosphere here.
Sounds great, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Look forward to that.
All right, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you.